Welcome back to Two Nigerian Women. My name is Ibukun.
Hello, everyone. My name is Abidemi, and welcome to this week's episode.
Yeah, and we are excited because this is our first interview. Yay!
Yay!
Yeah, we have a beautiful guest in the studio with us. Her name is Mofolusade, and Sade for short. And we will get her to introduce herself fully. But even before she does that, I have a question, and it's one I would ask of anyone right now. In this world situation we're in, with all the different crises going on and things like that, what mantra are you living by right now?
So I say this every day. My name is Mofolusade. Good things happen to me.
Mm,
So that's my
okay.
mantra, literally. I
Mm,
say it every day. I just keep reminding myself. So
yeah.
anything happening, I believe that everything that is happening, everything happens for me and
Mm,
not to me. So whatever it is that is happening, I just look at that side that this is happening for me because
mm.
good things happen to me. So that's what keeps me going in this season.
I like that. I like that. And BW, you can share if you have one. Mine right now is God is patient.
Hmm.
I have.
Well, my own mantra is just God is in control, because a lot of times I think we get bogged down with life, and there's so much going on jostling for our attention. And
Mm,
sometimes it's good to remind yourself that someone bigger than you is in charge of all that's
Yeah,
happening around you. And
yeah.
so
very
it's a
true.
constant reminder. And I'm reminding my kids as well, my husband, God's in control, he's in charge. So it's just something that I think over the last couple of, I don't even want to say years, but I think so,
Mm,
months, it's been a constant reminder. So yeah,
yeah.
Mm.
that's my mantra for now anyway.
Thanks for sharing. Okay, so we will start the interview. And BW, I know you have loads of questions, and I do as well.
Yeah.
So go ahead, please.
Okay, so Shade, welcome to this session with us, spending time with us. We really appreciate you being here, and
Thank
uh,
you.
appreciate you being here. But first things first, can we get to know who Shade is?
Okay, so Mofolusade Sonaike um, is a woman who has a lot of expressions. Um,
Mm,
I'm in an era where I'm embracing them all. For the longest, I used to be like, when people say, what is she exactly? Do you understand? But I
mm,
think there's
mm,
one word that sums everything. My life calling is to help mothers be happy.
Okay.
Okay, so you fulfill life without losing that calling as a mother. So
Mhm.
finding that fulfillment as a person and as a mother, and being happy while fulfilling all of these roles is my life mission. So I make that happen right now as a yoga instructor.
okay.
As I also do a lot of work around mental health and training, events, and programs specifically for mothers. So that's what the whole Mumpreneur community is about.
Okay. So what makes you happy then?
um, living. I
Mm.
living, expressing myself, living. Anytime I
Okay.
start to feel choked and tight,
Ah,
I cannot be boxed into anything. So
okay.
living, yes,
Yeah.
So
that's what
living
makes me
life
happy.
to the full.
Living life to the fullest.
Okay. What does that practically mean
In-
in terms of what makes you realize in the moment you're living life to the fullest?
So being my authentic self,
Mm-hmm.
going out,
Okay.
moving, interacting with people, playing. So yeah, I like to play, and I'm no more apologetic about that. It has always been, even from a younger age, people say, "Ah, you're too playful," and I realized at the end of the day, wait a minute, that's what makes me happy. I like to play, right?
Okay.
So,
And where are you based actually, Shade? Just so to give our viewers and listeners context, where are you based?
I'm based in Lagos, Nigeria.
Aye, the energy capital of the
Yeah,
world.
The city.
yeah. Lagos is a place where we have a love-hate relationship with.
Tell me about it. So you did mention that you never, basically, you're very playful. You never take yourself too serious.
Never.
So in that, can you tell us one situation that like is almost not like you're trying to prove yourself, but you have been put in a situation that you had to shake off whatever was going on around you and just live.
Hmm. Okay, I'll start with my locks.
Okay.
It's a great example because at the time I'd always wanted to do it. Okay, and you know the typical Nigerian families. So my mom is very religious, you know, Christian. You know, they look at you as you're a married woman. What's this? This is not what you should be doing at this time. You
Mm.
are this, you are that, right? But when I wanted to do it, I just made up my mind. I'm going to do it, and I'm going to do it. I
Mm.
was called names because I don't feel, and then okay, let me even give context because my husband is a pastor in a
Ah,
psychedelic church, like proper gospel Nigeria type church. I
wahala,
say,
that's wahala.
yes. In fact, when I started my locks, I used to hide the hair for a bit because I had to go through the awkward phase where it was short and spiky. You know that look.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
know that look. Everybody looks at you like, you're looking so wild, and so. But I pushed through, and now, funny thing is, I've had people in the church also go and lock their hair since
Oh.
seeing how mine turned out. With all the persecution initially, I didn't budge. I went through it. So this is a 9-year journey
Wow.
of so that's one way where I broke the stereotype and decided this is what I want to do.
Mhm.
So is that why it started? Like, so if someone asks you, so the tagline is amazing,
Mm-hmm.
but if someone asks you, what is Mumpreneur
Mm-hmm.
about? So if I join the league of
Yeah.
kick-ass moms,
Mm-hmm.
what does that make me, or what do I then do?
Right. So you have a support system.
Okay.
You have let me just the beginning, the genesis of it. It all started out because after my first son, I was working in a 9 to 5 at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, I think a lot of women, because I've interacted with a lot of women go through that phase where you're thinking like the world is passing you by and
Mm,
you're just
mm,
there. One, two, there's this mom guilt that you go through, especially when you have a 9 to 5. So I was going to work, dropping my son off with my mother. I would get letters from his school. I couldn't attend any
mm,
of those things. And I was
mm,
afraid to
mm,
step out of, because I'm like, I can't be a sit at home mom. I'm
mm,
not built for that kind. I mean, it's a choice that some people choose and it's fine, but I'm not built that way, right? So I
mm,
resigned and started a business so that I would have time. But nothing prepares you for business.
mm.
Oh my
No,
goodness. Nothing.
no.
You can
Mm,
have everything on paper looking pretty, but once you are in the arena,
mhm,
my God, at some point
mm,
I was like, what have I done? So I was
mm,
literally losing it. I was literally having a breakdown when Mumpreneur
mm,
started. I needed an outlet. I wanted to talk because one other thing is there's this culture of silence
mm.
where women are expected keep it together, nice and pretty. Oh, I'm fine. They ask you, how
Wait,
are you? Oh, I'm
wait.
fine. It's all going well.
Yes. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's all going well and everything. And so that's how it was. I was there literally seeing everybody feeling it while
Mm,
I was struggling and I needed an outlet. So I started blogging about it and I started sharing my challenges, my
mm,
failures, my struggles. And I started getting emails back from people who are like, oh my God, I can relate to that. I was like, what a wow. So I'm not alone in this
mm.
struggle. Oh my goodness.
No.
We need a support
Wow.
group.
Mm.
And that was how it started. That was how it started.
Wow.
So basically, that place where you can, a safe space where you can
Mm-hmm.
be yourself, express yourself, and understand that you're not alone in this struggle. You have people who have been there. So we have different age categories, people who have gone through whatever it is you're going through now and
Mm-hmm.
can express that to you and, stuff like that. So that group, that safe space is what it is about.
But I need that in the UK. When did it start? When did it start in Nigeria?
So it started in 2015 unofficially, but
Okay.
I set up the community properly in 2021.
Okay, so after
In
Ah,
lockdown.
2021. Yes, after lockdown.
So lockdown
After lockdown.
was a catalyst to a certain extent.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
Okay.
Yes, it
mm,
was.
yeah.
So
I was going
I've
to say,
yeah.
Bidemi, we will put in the description the Mumpreneur site. So
Okay.
anyone who is listening to this
Yeah.
in Nigeria or even Nigerian diaspora that you want to key into what they're doing in Nigeria, please go to the description box and you will
Yes.
see the Mumpreneur site.
Yes.
Okay.
Also, do you still have the blog?
I left it. It was a Google blog. It's there, but I have evolved over time. So
Yeah.
that's another thing.
Well,
Yes.
but the thing that you have to, I'm not trying to give you business advice,
Okay,
but
no, but it's fine.
you have your email. You'd be surprised people might want to read that foundation because some people are going through
Mm,
what you went through. So it's still very
Mhm.
mm,
relevant today, even though it happened a
Mm,
while back. So please keep your
yeah.
email very active because you will have people that are reaching out to you based on what they
Mm.
have read. So please, I just wanted to put that out there. But
Okay.
I have
Okay.
a question in regards to what you've said so far. So
All
your
right.
line is the League of Kick-Ass Moms. So can you tell me,
Yes.
have you kicked ass? And and there's another one. Do you think that you have created a safe space so far
mm.
in doing
Mm.
mompreneur? So that's two questions.
Okay. So first, have I kicked ass?
Yes.
Oh yes, definitely. I'm kicking ass every day. I'm waking up. I'm kicking ass.
Mm,
um. So, what is a kick-ass mom? First of all, is a
mm,
mom who is able to live on her own terms,
Okay.
right? Against all odds,
Mm,
irrespective of what people think or say. So
mm,
I'll use different examples. I'm currently a yoga instructor
okay.
and certified. Okay, and it
mm,
started as okay. I'm passionate about movement, and during the lockdown, I was pulling my hair out. I experienced yoga, and it did something for me. So I'm like, this is something I want to offer to other people, and I went and I got certified.
mhm,
Considering the same context I had with my locks, pastor's wife, MFM mother, typical
mhm,
Nigerian, I got all sorts of backlash. People were sending me messages. This yoga
mhm,
thing is demonic. Oh. You know how Nigerians are. When you do not understand something, you demonize it.
Mm,
This thing is demonic. This, da, 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 da. You will soon start flying. Astral travel. Oh my goodness. But I did my personal research. I went to
mm,
a yoga school. So I had the answers to all of these questions. Do you understand? So I wasn't moved by all of that. And I started teaching. So right now, apart from the Mumpreneur, I have a community of moms who practice yoga, who I'm teaching yoga because I saw how it's, worked for me. Yoga is about the stilling of the mind. And see, when more do you need it than now? Right now, with the way the world is, you need to
mm,
be able to have a still mind. You need to be able to keep your mind and your body and soul together, right? And
mm,
that's what yoga does for you. So that's that's one of the ways that I know I'm kicking ass. If I want to do something, I go for it. And I don't
mm.
care whose ox is God. I shot a movie and premiered it in 2022.
wow.
And
Wow.
so it was a movie about the struggle of widows. It's a story,
Mm,
and it started just as an idea. I want to do a movie. I'd never done anything like that before. I have a background in chemical engineering and an MBA, so nothing, relating to acting or whatever. But I put it together and I did it. So I
mm,
am kicking ass every day. So the second question was,
Space.
you said, oh, safe space. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So initially, that's why I said we started in 2015, but it became formal in 2021. In 2015, it was more like I had like a social media audience. And once
mm.
in a while, we used to. So, you know how social media is everybody and anybody.
Yeah.
And that's why COVID, the lockdown, created a shift. I
Mm.
realized that we needed deeper, authentic connections,
Connections. Yeah.
not just people. You feel like you know somebody because they're on social media, but you don't know them. You
No.
don't know them, right? So I decided to create a WhatsApp community, and I used WhatsApp because a lot of mothers in Nigeria are on WhatsApp. I tried Telegram, Telegram didn't work because most times you have to nudge them to go and
Does
check,
it
to
still
go and...
exist?
It's still there. People use it too. It does. But most people are comfortable with WhatsApp. And I will tell you that in that group, we have had people express things that they've never been able to express to anyone else. And it's a non-bias, non-judgmental group. I have women in diaspora. I have Muslims, Christians, name it.
Really?
It's not a religious, it's not a labels kind of group. It's a group where you are a mother, and biological or not, because there are different types of women are nurturers. So some people have like adopted kids, or some people are in that waiting season. They want to be mothers. So everybody, they're all welcome, and it's a safe space where they can express who they are and whatever it is without the fear of being judged.
Okay.
Yes, that safe space is there.
Okay. I just have one question before Ibukun takes over. But
Okay.
you say you do yoga, right? I just want to know
Yes.
how you can do yoga without meditation. So do you meditate? And
Oh,
if
yes.
you meditate, what do you meditate on? Because typically, like you said, you have people in Nigeria telling you about astral travel and all those kind of things.
Yes.
It goes hand in hand. You can't have one without the other. So how are you able to marry that without that impacting your faith, but however, while keeping you still grounded, but still getting the benefits of doing it? Because I'm inquisitive. I'm a novice. I don't know these things. I just feel that you can't do yoga without meditating. I'm meditating on, because
Absolutely.
I don't know if they call it, I don't want to call it Eastern religion, but it's connected to a religion. So how are you able to do yoga without
So
meditating? And forgive me if I am being ignorant. I need to ask this.
no apologies here. It's a very valid question. It's a
Yes.
very, very valid question, and I like that you asked that. So one of the things that the yoga school where I got my certification, one of the things that place did for me was they demystified all of this for me. So first of all, yoga is a science. Okay, this person, our instructor then, she focused on the science of it, and it was appropriated by the Eastern religions to, so they have certain cultures, and because you have different, or if you begin to explore and do research on the origin of yoga, there are different people who have appropriated it. In fact, before like 2,000 years ago, there was nothing like even all of the postures that we do now. It was more of the meditation part and a lot of other things. All these other things came later. It has evolved. And if you look at it, there are same with many other things. Christianity too evolved. We look at Christmas. Some people tell you Christmas was a particular
Pagan festival.
pagan celebration that was appropriated.
Yes.
You understand? Yes. So she gave us the foundation of the science of all of the movements that we make. And meditation, if we talk about meditation, even in the Bible, meditation is mentioned many times.
Yeah.
But I dare say that as a Christian in church, I was never taught what it was to meditate, to be honest. They say, oh, you meditate on the word of God day and night. It was like a buzzword to me. But practicing yoga opened me up and made me understand the depth and the power of meditation. So I meditate. This is something that God has encouraged us to do. So it even helped my walk with God. It made it deeper.
Yeah.
So I meditate on the word of God and I know how to do it. This is about opening, pressing. Okay, this is the way, pressing into the spiritual. There's a spiritual, whether we like it or not, there's a spiritual side and there's a physical side. There are things happening there, yes. And there are two sides of it. There's the evil and the good. So some people may be pressing into the other spiritual side where they are. Do you understand? But where am I pressing? I am pressing into the spiritual of God to get direction. And we need it more than anything now. We need direction. When you say people hear, how do you hear from God? We focus on, talk to God. You're praying. But how do you hear from him? You have to be still. Bible says, be still and know. And what is that? That is meditation. Right? So it gave me a better understanding, really, of what that was about. So it depends on what your foundation is and the spiritual you are deciding to press into. Whatever it is you look for, you find.
Shade, to be honest with you, a lot of Christians are scared of the spiritual, like genuinely.
Absolutely.
There,
Absolutely.
there is a certain authority as a Christian you have spiritually. A
Yes.
lot of people will be overwhelmed if they
Absolutely.
know what it is. And
Absolutely.
and yes, what you're right in what you said, there is the good and then the evil side.
Yes.
And unfortunately, until Jesus comes back, there would always be that
Mhm.
evil perspective as well.
Yes.
And if
Yes.
you are able or you dare to be able to key into the spiritual side of your identity as a Christian, you will
Mhm.
see things you never want to see.
Absolutely.
So
I mean, sorry to
yeah.
buttress that. We've had cases of people who maybe unknowingly or unknowingly they found a way to press into the spiritual, and they
Mm,
never remain the same.
Mm.
They
mm,
cross over, they
mhm,
become mad because they come back and they see things that their mind is not ready to process
Yep.
or they
mm,
were not ready for.
Yeah.
So those
mm,
are some of the things that buttresses this point that you're saying. Even Moses, when he went to the presence of God to get the tablets, he
Yes.
came down and nobody could look at his face.
Recognize him.
mm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nobody could recognize him. So it's a deep, deep, deep spiritual and powerful thing. And I think that's why a lot of people are afraid of it, because maybe people have tried this meditation thing in the past and they've been able to cross over, but they come back and they are not the same again. They are not, they can't get themselves back.
Mm, mm. Interesting. Well, for those of you listening, this is where I encourage you to like, subscribe, and share, and comment. Put in the comment section what you think about what we've just said about separating the not so good part of
Yes.
what yoga has morphed into,
Yeah.
and where you're at. It'll be interesting conversation in the comment section. But yes, Sisi Bidemi, do you want to continue?
Well, I still have my question on this meditation because
Absolutely.
you said crossover. Now these are like you always use the word buzzword. So I'm going to use this buzzword. You said
Okay.
crossover. You said like so when when you're talking about meditation, do you like say okay the word of the Lord is the light unto my path, or you're praying, or
Yeah,
what do you?
how do you do it? Yeah, how do you do it?
Okay. So there are different types of meditation.
Hey.
There's a meditation where you just sit still
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
and listen,
Okay.
right? You sit still
Mm,
and listen. It's just, that's what it is. You're not trying
mm,
to do anything. You're not trying, because, and that thing is, the human mind never really settles. Your thoughts are buzzing. In fact, I'll tell you, the first time I attempted meditation, I started hyperventilating because I'm like, what is this? We're not used to sitting with ourselves. If you really sit with your
mm,
thoughts and you see the kind of things that are coming through, you can panic. Do you understand?
mm,
Mm.
So first of all, is even trying to master that whatever, where you allow those thoughts to just come through and
mhm,
go, come through and go, and then they're dropping, and then you connect with your inner man. Look, I don't want to sound too, because
You
these
don't
things are
want to
deeper, but
sound too spooky.
yeah, because God is,
Yeah.
there are different ways. God is trying to speak to us every day through different media.
Mm,
Mm.
But
mm,
because we're not still, we're not hearing him, and we're not able to sift, because there's so many signals coming from different angles, right? And you're not able to differentiate and find yourself in that place where you're connecting with him.
mhm,
We struggle. So that's one way of meditation. Another way, and that one is like is the highest level, because it's a very difficult thing to do. Very difficult.
mm,
Many times, as these thoughts are coming through, you want to engage with the thoughts. The moment
mm,
you sit down and you're still, that's when you remember, oh my God, I need to buy this. I need to invest in. Oh, I didn't pay for that thing. Oh, they're all coming. They're rushing. They're coming.
Yeah.
And
mm,
how do you now settle it? So that's when you now use guided meditation. And I even follow a guided meditation page on YouTube when I started. It's a Christian guided meditation page. And they use this scripture, be still and know that
I
I
know
am God. So
that.
it says, as you inhale, be still, exhale, and know. So you're using the word of God as your mantra to
Okay.
keep you grounded and get you into that place,
Mm.
right? So we use the scripture as the mantra. That's guided meditation. You can also use mantra, where you have a mantra yourself and you're repeating it over and over. It will get to a point where you are able to shut out all of the noise, and all your mind is one with that mantra. So some people use this when maybe you have a challenge or you have something you are really, you want an answer. You use that answer as your mantra. That's the seed that you're feeding into the meditation.
Okay.
And you continue, you become one with that mantra and you begin to receive answers. It takes practice. It's something.
Fascinating. It's really fascinating because I can see snippets of, like, I'm sure we'll continue this conversation in terms of beyond the interview, but
Yeah.
the point I really want people to hear, because some people will still dismiss this out of hand,
Absolutely.
is
Absolutely.
understanding that you can take good out of something and twist it and make it evil,
Yep.
and vice versa
Yes.
as
Yes.
well. You can take, so there is a bit of history that we're not going into because that's not what the interview is about, in
Yes.
terms of yoga that Sade
Yes.
has referenced, and it's up to you to do the research yourself.
Mhm.
But do not be ill-advised in just jumping into it,
Yes.
because there's a lot of how best to say it, there's a lot of false versions of what could be good that you
Yes.
can then go and get yourself into trouble with.
Yes.
So Sade is a practitioner, certified, and still very much a Christian. She has not flown
Yes.
anywhere.
I'm not astral
hasn't
traveled
flown-
anywhere.
She has not flown anywhere. So the point of that being said is, be careful. It's not something you
Yes.
just go into lightly,
It's
and
not.
you do need to be intentional. But you did say something in there that I think is so important. If any single individual sits and actually listens, like it is
Yes.
still enough to listen to their thoughts,
Yes.
it will scare them what they're
Absolutely.
thinking.
Yes.
And this is not a demon whispering in your ear. It is
Nope.
you, just you literally thinking certain things. And that, I think, a lot of people do not do willingly. It's hard. It's hard because I was telling a group of my friends, Bidemi being one of them, that I go on regular solo retreats. I was like, how do you do that? What do you do when you do that? And things like that. And I think it's worthwhile, and
It
it's
is.
just, it's my opinion. You do need to be able to be with your own self
Enjoy your company.
and
There are some retreats, like
understand.
I've gone, there's some of this. I mean, one of the retreats I've gone for recently is a silence retreat. So we're silent for 3 days,
Oof.
just you and your thoughts. Meditation, you and your thoughts. You come out refreshed. You come out like recharged. You feel different. It's something that people should experience, right? Because this thing that you're saying about how it is very difficult for a lot of us are so bogged down with activities, even as Christians. You feel like, oh, I'm in church. You are in a women's this. Oh, welfare that. Oh, this. But that's not what God is asking of you. Only.
No.
Sometimes He just wants you to sit, be still, get the direction, get the instruction. People who live by instruction are the ones who change the world.
Ooh, I like that. Let's repeat it for those in the back that
People
not here.
who live by instruction are the ones that
change the world.
Basically, discipline. If you are disciplined, you will change the world.
Yes, and not just discipline. It's about getting the seed from God, getting the right input.
Yeah.
Getting that input. Don't just do things. Because if you think about, a lot of times when you think about whatever it is you're doing, if you sit down and dig in and say, why? Why am I doing this? Sometimes the answers will surprise you. Sometimes maybe because I saw somebody do it. Oh, because this is what is expected of me. Or because sometimes the why is so superficial. It's not a strong why enough for you to be doing it. Sometimes it's better you're not doing anything and you wait for the right instruction where God has sent it, the signals down and says, this and this and this is what you need to be doing.
You're supposed to
when you get that kind of instruction, you're flying. It will be like you did jazz, as Nigerians will say.
No, but genuinely, some people experience God in different ways. Some people actually hear a voice.
Yes.
Some people just have an intuition.
Yes.
And some people actually see a sign. in that sense. And to your point, I'm sure if we really think it through,
I'm
Jesus
seeing Jumoke.
lived
I'm seeing Bidemi processing this thing.
she is. Give her time. She will come to it. But genuinely, Jesus lived by instruction. He was
Absolutely.
instructed, and he
Yes.
literally changed the world
Yes.
for us as Christians. If you're not a Christian, you might not get that. But genuinely, for us, Jesus did live a life of instruction. The
Yes.
disciples lived a life of instruction.
Yes.
They were instructed as Jesus died, go out, spread the gospel. They changed the world. That's
Just
how
like when
we,
they were fishing, when they were fishing and they had been there all night, they didn't catch anything
honestly.
until Jesus came and said, "Cast your net here,
Yep.
cast it here," and
There was an
immediately
instruction.
instruction.
Moses lived a life of instruction.
Yes.
You know what? We can keep going. Okay. Let's try. Let's try for the
back.
Let's bring it back to Mumpreneur.
Yeah.
So you have a lot of ladies in the community. Could you give us a
Yes.
success story in terms of someone who was in that place you were in before you started the blog? And could you give us like almost like a summary of the journey and where she is now?
Obviously,
And obviously not sharing it.
anonymously. Yeah.
Oh, of course, anonymously. Okay, so we have a particular mom who went through a bad divorce. Okay, and she had totally lost herself. Right, she had lost herself. She was even more or less suicidal.
Oh no.
She was more or less suicidal. She, was left with her children to raise, and she just didn't know where to start from. And it was at that point that she joined the community. And one of the things we do in the community, we have this thing that we do at the beginning of every year, sometimes 3 times a year. We call it the 21-day challenge, where we read books, we focus on affirmations, we focus on, listening to podcasts. I recommend specific podcasts that they need to listen to. And we also talk about meditation and exercise. Oh my God, people do not realize the power of movement in processing trauma, right? A lot, especially women, we trap a lot of things in our bodies because we feel like, oh, we can chest it. Just suck it in, suck it in, suck it
It's
in.
actually
So yeah,
a saying. It's actually a saying. Hold it with your full chest.
yeah, so you're there sucking everything in, and then you have one pain here, you have one pain there, you're wondering where the pain is coming from. It's coming from all of that sucking in. And you need to let it out, right? So she went through the program twice, and right now I can say that she's a totally different person. You can see, you know what? It starts from inside. If you're not happy inside, you can't. The prettiest people are the happy people are the prettiest. It's not by just smiling, fake smile that you're forcing on your face. A lot of people are moving around. They're just on the edge. One small thing and
could tip them over. Yep.
Tip them over. Right. So for in the community is an inside out transformation. That's what we do there. It's a transformation process to realize that, you know what, this is not the end of the world. You will be fine. But you have to deal with those emotions. You have to. So also I have experts come in, talk about things you can do to manage your mental health, things you can do for self-love and self-care, which we need a lot as women. You'd be like, because of the children. Because sorry to digress. I digress. But one of these things is a lot of women, yes, a lot of women sacrifice so much that at the end of the day, when their children now, leave and get married, they realize, what do I do with myself? You want to go and camp in your child's house, and your child is like, look, mommy, I want to leave. What's this? And then you're like, after all I did for you, no, I didn't send you. I didn't ask you to do these things. Some people, that is when they will see the rude awakening or rude realization. Your children do not owe you anything. They don't owe you. You need to take care of yourself so you can take care. It's good that children should take care of their parents, but they don't owe you that.
No.
Don't think that you are going to call that because I sacrificed for you, because I suffered for you, So make sure that you're taking care of yourself. And because you're even showing them a better way to live. They are looking at you. They are mirroring you. are you the sacrificial lamb? Nobody asked you to be the sacrificial lamb. You have to show them true strength. You have to show them how to care for themselves.
Yeah.
How to self-love is very important, because if you're not okay, your children cannot be okay. You think you're sacrificing for them and doing that. You are teaching them a way to live that they will carry on as well. And they will attract those kind of people too, who they need to care for and be sacrificial for and all of that. It's about raising wholesome children. So you have to be whole yourself. Not that you are dropping everything, and then you lose yourself. You don't know who you are anymore. And then, so it's inside out transformation.
Yeah. But sorry to just stop you there.
No, don't apologize.
There was something that you said just now, which just brought a lot of things to home. You said that a lot of women, they pretend, or they're internalizing a lot of things and putting on a facade for their kids that everything is okay. So these kids pretend like everything is fine. But can we link that to a lot of the marriages in Nigeria today? We have men that say, I'm staying married because of my children, though they are suffering abuse in every shape or form. That is a classic case. So they are bringing up wounded kids that will continue hurting people.
That will continue in that cycle.
Yes, hurting people, hurt people. We've had a situation with that gospel artist that died due to her husband's abuse. No, you often wonder, this happened 2022 or 21. How are those kids doing? That man most likely would have moved on, but have the kids moved on? But I think you made a very classic. You're telling us, you're giving us an analogy, but it's a lot of people's reality. So when it comes to Mumpreneur, do you have women? They're not in that divorce stage yet, but you can see that they're internalizing a lot of things.
Oh,
and
yes.
Thing is not okay. How do you address that? Besides giving them advice and not being nosy or trying to tell them what to do, sometimes a lot of the time see a train crash coming down.
Yeah.
So, I mean, one of the things we do is we have these things that we call Kick-Ass Moms Cup of Tea. Every other quarter, we invite experts to come and talk about. So we've had a powerful relationship and marriage counselor come to talk. We've had, and usually we negotiate, because therapy is very expensive, and it's something that I think everybody needs.
Yeah.
And it's something that's very normalized here. But with these people, we've been able to negotiate like discounts, group discounts and stuff, to say, look, if you need, because sometimes you need to be careful. For some people, it may be that they need to unpack a lot of things and it's salvageable. But if it's not salvageable, I'm not the type that will say stay there and die there. We don't, that's why I said it's a safe space. So we have people who are divorced, people who are separated, and there's no label. We embrace you for who you are.
Okay.
Do you understand? Right? So we have experts come, like, I'm not a marriage counselor or whatever, but we have experts. I seek out people like that. Therapists, counselors, not because another thing too is you have different things. In Nigeria, everything rests on pastor. Everything is pastor, but it's not everything that pastor is not a trained therapist.
No.
A pastor is not. Do you understand? You need people who have the experience and know what to do and how signs to look out for.
They know how to manage people. A lot of them don't know how to manage people.
Yes, because sometimes they'll tell you. So, okay, so I have an example. On the group, there was someone who said, she stopped going to church because she was going through a really rough time in her marriage. And I think, they had tried counseling in the church. And the normal way church counseling goes. Submit. You two be patient. Men have ego. You two try and rub it, massage his ego. And she was like, really? Like, am I not a human being here in this picture? What is this? Right? So she said when that kept on, because they will invite the man for counseling, he'll be like, he won't come, and she will go, and everybody will be telling you, manage. She said she just stopped and she left. Right? So this is what happens a lot of times.
Yes.
But professional therapists, marriage counselors who are trained and certified, they know the right questions to ask. they know the right things to say, and they will not, a lot of times you will come to that realization yourself, because sometimes deep down inside you have the answers.
Yeah.
Like I said, remember I talked about, yes, you have the answers, but many times is that we are too afraid to take that step, or we feel, oh, people will say this, people, but they would guide you and help you get to that point where you're like, nope, this is absolutely what I need to be doing right now.
Yeah.
And you do it.
Could I ask then, because what I love about the mompreneur community is you are very intentional about looking after the mind.
Yes.
In terms of, because there's preneur at the end of the month. What sort of enterprises do this women then go on to do? Is it a wide range, or is it a certain type of business they engage in?
So when I started out, the preneur was there because that was my reality. Like now we've evolved to we have women in in their normal careers and all of that. But in terms of the enterprise, we have a very wide, varied range of people doing different things. So like maybe manufacturing, maybe fashion design. Let me try and think of people some are into trading, different types of things. Some are into service providing, so copywriting, editing, whatever it is. So, and that beautiful thing we do with the community is to also help to project these women. So whatever business you're doing, I call myself the cheerleader. I'm the ultimate. If I'm in your corner, hey, I sell your market for you, you will say. So like, just knowing that, because entrepreneurship is a very, very lonely journey.
It is.
I went through that phase where you just feel like you're alone, and you start doubting yourself. You start asking yourself questions: am I a failure? I mean, it's a long process before you get to that point. And you never even really get to that point where it's like, now I can rest, I've made it. There's no, even Dangote says he doesn't ever get to that point where he feels like, oh, finally, yes, I can rest now. No. So you need that community of people where you know that these are my people. I have a challenge, or I have a fair where I'm attending. I know that my people will show up for me. That's one of the things we do a lot. So somebody's opening her store. You never have to worry about, because I know I have even experienced it before. I've had events in the past where I've spent money, get a hall, and nobody will show up. There's nothing that breaks you more than that. But the thing is, you have to bounce back from that and keep. But with this community, somebody comes and says, "Oh, I'm exhibiting at this fair. Oh, guys, show up for me." We show up. We show up. We promote. We make all the noise and all of that. So knowing that you have that support system, it does a lot. It does a lot.
Wow, this sounds amazing. Well, I'll let Bidemi close us out with her last question. We've lost sight of time.
I know.
One last question, anything. There's more than one last question, Auntie. Forget.
God.
Okay, so you're talking about okay. Let's just say second to last question. Hopefully, you don't send me off on a bunny trail, and then I'll come back.
No problem.
Does it entail being part of the mompreneur community? What do you need to do? Is there specific
so now what it is, it's
fees? What do we need to do?
Okay, yes. So there's a one-time fee for going through the 21-day challenge.
Okay.
Because, like Ebuku said, working on the mind and building habits, changing your lifestyle, very important. Because I'm very particular about the people that get admitted into the community. Because one, it's a safe space. We don't want somebody who comes and what are these people talking about? What's this affirmation they are talking about? What's this, so you have to go through that 21-day process. You have to read the books that we recommend. You have to, do the meditation affirmations. And it doesn't matter. It's, these things are fundamental principles. Whether you're Christian, Muslim, everybody needs to submit to a higher power. We all know that there is, something higher than us. We all know that you have to pray. Prayer is the key. Do you understand all these things? We have to develop habits. Yes. So the one-time fee for the 21-day challenge, go through that, and then you get admitted into because you have to be committed to. Sometimes some people come and maybe just 2 days or 1 week. The other weeks you don't see them. You can't come and do that. We don't want you have to go, you have to do the work, right? So that we are all in sync, as it were. You know, somebody comes, they're talking about something very emotional and all that, and you are not biased or judgmental towards that person. You allow people. So those things are very important. So you have to go through that period, that 21-day challenge, and I do it quarterly. So we open when we open to say, okay, this is the next challenge. You pay and then go through that process. Then you're admitted into the group.
Okay. Also,
Yeah.
do you have members, like you said, you have members everywhere. So anyone
Yes.
that wants to do the 21-day challenge, if they are not present in Lagos with you, you do it online or you send them
It's even mostly online. So we have people, we have some members in Canada, we have in UK, we have in the US. So with time difference, it's worked out in such a way that so the whole idea is you commit to doing certain things for 21 days, and we check in for those 20 days. You have to report.
Okay.
Right. So it's online. It's something that you don't have to be physically here. The only thing you would miss physically is that usually we have a closing out event where we go out, because that's another thing. Many moms don't get to go out. That's my job. Finding fun things to do. Yeah, because one of the books we read last season was Ian Lavansat's One Day My Soul Just Opened Up. And one of the things she said is honor yourself with fun. I felt so seen and validated because everybody looks at her, she's just like,
you like to play.
Yes, you know, so just come and feel like a child again. Reconnect with that your inner child. Let it out. So yeah.
Okay. And then do you have a team behind you or it's just you?
Well, I have, so people who started out with me, the first set of this thing, we've come together to have, because it has grown to a point where it used to be only me, but it wasn't working anymore. So I have a team.
Okay. And then roughly how many mompreneurs are there? Rough estimate.
Roughly, let's say 50.
Okay.
50.
That are consistent and
yes, that's why I'm saying 50, because you know we have plenty, but focused, you know, participate. Yes.
Okay. Okay, so the final question. Because if there's anything you want to say, you are going to close us out. I'm going to ask the final question.
No problem. Go ahead.
Okay.
Because you might have something and I might have something. So for those inspired to start a business, what are your, because like you said, it started out as you pouring out your soul into talking about your challenge, being a working mom and having a baby, maybe a young marriage, having a husband, having to look after yourself. What do you think can be inspiring to other people that want to do this sort of thing or thinking about it? What do you think is the first step? You did your own
business
professionally because it was unique to you. It doesn't have to be that way for someone else. But what do you think, if you could go back and start the process all over again, what advice would be the first step?
So the top advice that I give people now, based on what I know now, is go and, there's this thing the Igbos call Unwa boy. Go and do Unwa boy somewhere.
Yes.
Right? Because no matter how pretty it looks on paper, no matter how much knowledge you have, how many books you've read, until you get your hands into it, you don't know nada. Okay. So submit to apprenticeship. Go and work with someone in that field that you want, not just for the soul. Like, even if it's as basic, I want to start selling fabrics. There are tricks to every trade. Go and submit yourself to train under somebody. It cuts down the heartache, cuts down the learning curve, makes it shorter, and saves you a lot of trouble.
Okay.
So for me, I think that's just it.
I like that. Because one of my streams is business coaching, and that definitely to what I would definitely encourage anyone who wants to start a business to do. It's every idea I would add to that is not a business idea. It might just be just an idea, a good idea. But Sade, you've been amazing. Thank you so much for answering the difficult question. But I can see Sisi Bidemi is so intrigued with that of the meditation, and I'm sure she still has questions. But for the listeners, please like, share, and subscribe,
Yeah.
and ask the questions. I'm sure Shade will be in the comments at some point and
Yeah.
respond to any question
Yes.
directed at her.
Yes, I will.
So thank you so much for listening.
Thank you for having me.
You are so welcome anytime. I'm sure we'll bring you back and
We will,
see what
we will definitely bring her back because we have a lot more to talk about. And then also,
Yeah.
like, I just feel that this is an avenue for you to, besides putting yourself out there, putting us out there, it's also an avenue for you to reach out to other people because
people.
the thing about business or having a baby that you're nurturing, you always have to review and revise and go through stuff. So I'm sure that you're going to have something to share a couple of months or a year down the line that
Absolutely.
proves on what
Absolutely.
you already have, a success
Yeah.
Yeah.
story, or even ways that you have kind of branched out. So we'll love to
Mm.
hear all about the future plans, what is going
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
in the pipeline, what has been birthed, what is being cooked. We are so interested. But I think for me, I'm going to take away from this, although I'm very, very playful and childish and always trying my best
Which is fine. Which is fine.
to keep honoring myself with fun because a lot
Yes.
of
Yeah.
times people, like you said, people take life too seriously and you don't even know
Too
how to have
much.
fun or even laugh or have a laugh. I remember some days leading up to my 40th birthday, I was on a walk because I do a lot of long walks, and I was on a walk and I was dancing as I was walking, and every car I was passing was looking at me like, "Is this girl okay?" Like, I was crazy
Dancing on the public road.
on the public road, but I couldn't help myself because it was just the way I was feeling. And
Yeah.
so those are the kind of things. It's silly to someone else, but I felt so liberated after doing that. And it didn't feel awkward for me because I knew what I was getting out of it. So I think it's very
Yeah.
important that we as moms, as women, as individuals, not only women, but men as well, honor yourself with fun. I think
Yes.
take joy in the things that seem silly to other people, but
But
it's
give you joy.
what give you joy. Exactly.
Yes.
Not caring what other people think, feel us, or see
Mm.
about it. But
Absolutely.
then we've had a wonderful time and we have to go. But thank you for hanging out with us in the
Thank
studio. And
you. I had fun.
yes, thank you to our guests. Shade, we can't wait to hear lots more down the line.
Yeah.
And we can't wait to have
Mm.
you back. Please keep your diary open for us. Anything
Please.
because we also
No
Yeah.
problem.
move from this to somewhere else. So hopefully you'll be open to coming and being with us in a proper studio with time, fingers crossed. But yes, thank you for honoring us and we
Thank you.
appreciate you and we wish you the very best. And
Thank
we'll
you so much.
you on from the sidelines, like
We
just
also your
flags,
cheerleaders,
your
Shadi.
cheerleaders. Yes,
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
good luck, well done. We're here for
Thank you.
we believe in you and we know you're going to do great. But thank
Thank
you.
you
Yeah.
so much. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Bye.
Take care,
Take care.
everyone. Have a
Bye.
lovely, lovely day.
You
Bye-bye.
too. Bye.
Bye.